It looks so bad. Hello, welcome, Merry... Oh my god, I forgot my intro. Hello, welcome to the War Gamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to the 40K Jason Show. We're your hosts. Although it looks a bit dire. Let me just change one of these little boxes so at least there's a background. Doesn't matter what, that'll do. Alright, we're just waiting on one of our hosts. But I'm joined by Peter, the Christmas Falcon. Merry Christmas, how are you? Like I told you before, bit of wisdom tooth pain. But apart from that, very... Oh, hold on. I've got to get your... Okay. There you go, Pete. Hello, how are you? We're doing that again.
I am well.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, if you... Oh my God. Yeah, fine. Thanks so much. Because if that guy's not on, then you're muted. It's the caca. I'm so sorry, everyone. Maybe... Does Falcon have a caca twice, or is that not?
No, only ever once. That's how birds work, Rob. Like, come on.
Are you an expert on bird law?
Yes, yeah, specifically cacala. And okay, Val is on his way. He's sliding down the fire pole. You know, he's that type of bourgeoisie asshole that would have a fire pole in his house, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Have you actually been to his house?
I've never been to his house.
I have.
I know you have.
The entire thing is controlled by like Google Home, and he's just like, "Hey, downstairs, turn yourself off, you bitch." Yeah, he like goes up. Yeah,
and everything is gilt, like it's just gold everywhere. This is what I picture, at least.
It's close. It's like all marble white, and I asked myself, how often do you have to replace everything so it maintains this level of cleanliness? Because I don't imagine he cleans it; he just throws it out and resets like Lex Luthor in his socks. I imagine. But yeah,
like this is all things that I just assumed.
I can confirm. The press can confirm. How was your Christmas? Can I ask you? How was your Christmas?
It was great. It was great. My mother-in-law's still here. And yeah, that's the thing. They're great for the kids though. They love it. So that was the only thing that mattered to me. I got a new suitcase and I got a t-shirt, you know, dad stuff.
Yeah.
And but everybody else, like it was a party here, a COVID party. Me
nice.
and like the 800 people that live in my house.
COVID party.
Yep. And my wife kept trying to get me to get a new cat, and I was like, it's not happening. It was a big hullabaloo. But she wouldn't tell me in person. She just messaged me at random, like while I was at work.
Really?
Still thought about that cat? I'm like, no, we're not getting a cat. I don't need another one.
How many cats do you have?
Just one. And we have a dog and 3 children and a mother-in-law now. It's not that big a place.
That's plenty.
That's more than plenty. And the cat and the dog, they do not enjoy each other.
The classic tale. The
classic tale that we knew would happen. So then she was like, let's get another cat and see if that fixes it. That is not how that works.
If anything, they'll just form a cat gang and start to bully the dog. The balance of power will shift in the house, and you don't want to do that.
Or the cat and the dog would get along, the new cat and the dog, and the new cat would ride the dog around chasing my cat. It would just be like, anyway.
I compare it to when Trump recognized Jerusalem as the the head of Israel, or whatever it was, the capital of Israel. You cannot just make sweeping power changes like that on a whim, right?
Yeah, you can't just do things like that.
Well, it sounds like a good Christmas. I'm glad. We'll wait for Val because I was going to ask you both about what's gone on this year and kind of do like 2020 wrap up. Was my kind of thing.
How have you been? How was your Christmas? Other than wisdom teeth.
Oh no, lovely. I hung out with the chat. We painted a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it was super sweet. I've been 3D printing things like a little bandit, which has been super fun. Yeah. I've now got into like 3D printing at like a finer detail. So that's been fun. And then painting, and then I've been watching a lot of video. I actually started. I was doing some painting. And I started watching a bunch of lore videos because I thought that would be a fun thing to do while I painted and stuff. So I was watching like some Death Guard stuff, and then they released the Old World Bretonian thing yesterday.
Yeah.
So I watched a 45-minute biopic on Bretonian lore, and let me tell you, it's not worth the time at all. It's basically a series of battles where each one of the knights slowly becomes a Grail Knight, hence then a king. It's It's not exciting.
Bretonia was never like my big jam for lore. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Not a big surprise there.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal to me at all. But like, I think that would be something I want to do in the future. Did I tell you that this is something? I don't think I've told you this. So one of the things I want to do next year, with an eye on the prize of doing commentary again, whenever real human beings, well, I know they're all real, but when they're out,
real or real.
Yeah, real or real. One of the things I want to do is like take stuff that's like really high up in the meta, like stuff that you'll see a lot, like obviously we've talked about plasma inceptors and those other things and dreadnoughts, and then Scrivo, thanks for donating £3 to the show. Merry Christmas. I don't know what you've
here,
done
by the way. I don't know if he knows how everything works, but he's here. Yep.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at his wonders. You can, and sorry for cutting you off. You can continue to tell me your plans. I just noticed he was kind of hopping around.
I'm going to make a list of stuff that's high in the meta, and then also learn the lore for it at the same time. That's it. So that, like, yeah, we have to see plasma inceptors all the time, but like, where do they make the plasma? Like, what's in it? Yeah.
Plasma.
Merry Christmas, Val. How are you?
Am I here?
You are here. You're in the room.
Is this real?
Is this just fantasy?
Is this real life? What was it?
Man,
I on drugs.
Val, have you moved slightly out of that giant closet room? Are you just now into a larger closet?
No, I'm in the same closet. Have I revealed my background by accident?
Well, it's less blurry than normal. There's blur, but not as blurry. Like you tone down the blur.
I'm gonna get what do they call that? Swatted? What is that?
Mm-hmm.
So what do the kids
something
do?
like that. Doxed. You're gonna be doxed.
Doxed and swatted.
Yeah.
Well, one of those is where they call police to your house, which is evil. So mean.
Yep. That they're going to, and they're going to be like, that man has too large of a closet. It's got a sectional inside it.
No man could have such a closet. Just to remind you, Pete, it's because you're looking out of the closet.
Sure.
I look into the closet. You're looking out of the closet.
Val and Rob and I talked extensively about your guilt and marble home while you were away. So everyone knows how bourgeoisie you are.
It might be guilt, but it's not marble, damn it. That's just gauche.
You also missed, I think, a fantastic reference to cats and repartization of different kind of capitals of countries. It was a good political jibe. You'd have. So sad you weren't here for it, but it was. I thought it was decent.
It is unfortunate. I got to hang out a little bit on. Was that Boxing Day?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lovely time. Very adjacent. It was apropos of nothing. I had a wonderful time.
I was really bummed.
Oh, wow.
I was really bummed. Well, because Boxing Day was the only day I could really like chat, and I was excited, and I got to work. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna chat with Rob, and then I see this message. Oh, my throat hurts. I talked for too long. I was like, God damn it, I missed it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Wah. That's me. I only think about myself.
If I'm honest, I just ran out of steam. I'm a bit of a panicky streamer, and I can't allow for those long silences. And I think there was just a lot of panic over 3 days of like a bit like, I must ask another question. I must keep the conversation flowing. Like, dear God. So there was a lot of that going on as well, which was much, if I'm honest. However, fun. But I like the Tuesday show because it's teaching me to. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm sat. I'm not trying to bring quite as much energy. Like that one time you were in the hotel and you were like.
We almost exploded through the video. Yeah. I was like, wasn't that last week?
It was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago.
I've just forgotten it was Tuesday 2 weeks in a row. I have been completely mixed up, and I apologize sincerely.
Well, it's the Chris between, isn't it? So you can never remember.
Yeah. Chris between is a real messed up time.
It's a tough time for everyone. I was going to spend the show asking you actually about the past year, if that's okay with you two. I did this a little bit yesterday, and just ask you about different elements of what's happened in 40k, and then see how you feel. Generally, was what I was going to do. I was also going to say big love to everyone in the chat. which I haven't actually said hello to today. So Tywin in, what up? Neil Kerr, Bonnie and Manchild, Freaks and Deeks, Scrivo, Scott B, Nikos, CB, all you guys. Big thank you to our new Warhammer mod in the chat as well. Well, our new chat mod, MJ Pegasus, but also Warhammer TV intern, who's helping keep track of everyone who subscribes now. Right, so highs and lows. Have you guys got a major high from 2020? A major moment in 40K 40K specifically that was like, love this bit. I'll give you a moment on that. That's it.
No problem. LVO 2020, man.
Yeah.
I thought that was a real perfect event. It was incredible in the sense that like you had everyone who was important was there. There was maybe one or two people from the high rankings who couldn't make it. There was a significant person who didn't make it. I can't remember who it was now. Pete might be able to help me out there. But anyway,
you talking about players?
Yeah, for as far as players were concerned, it was like 75% of like the top 100 were there. It was nuts.
And that included, it was 84.
There, okay, there you go. Thanks, Pete. I like to lowball when I'm just making stuff up. But nonetheless, it was truly international. Like Manny Chima came over.
Harrison
Matt Morisoli. Oh yeah, up from down under. Mm-hmm. It was amazing in that sense. It was massive. It was probably it did have the BCP. I was gonna say it was really well run.
Yeah, except for that 3-hour period where it wasn't,
which saved our bacon. And then we had the debut of the Ocho, which was awesome. And then we all fell in love with each other that way. So it was, I think that was without a doubt a highlight. And then things just went downhill from there.
Yeah, it was pretty much almost all lows after that.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Was that in February? I don't think we got out of January.
No, it was the end of January, and then after that, it was like, hey, let's stop doing events, and then people were like, well, maybe we can still do it, and then it just didn't work out, and then the 9th launched, and it was really good, and I was very happy how 9th looked.
We're already in 9?
Yeah, because there was like a 6-month period where no time stopped. Remember, we just.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of psychic awakenings.
There were a lot of psychic awakenings.
Small anecdote. The first mask I saw in the wild that I'm pretty sure was COVID related was on the plane home from LVO. There's a couple guys in Pearson when I got off the plane in Toronto that were wearing masks, and I looked at them and I was talking to my wife because I just got off the plane. I was like, maybe we should be maybe we should pay attention to this China stuff. There's a bunch of people wearing masks around here.
I definitely thought about it once or twice in Vegas. So.
Oh, did you? Well, so while you guys were flying home from Vegas, I was flying home from Cancun. So I went through Malaysia, and we had to sign forms so they could track us, and everything as we went through that airport. And there was a lot of masks, and they bunched us all up in one room, and I was like, genius! This is smart play, boys. We now know that was not the smartest play, but previously. So yeah. But just on that, while we get the opportunity, because obviously there will be no LVO this year, but you guys, I know Val, you touched on it the other day, but it's worth bringing up again. You guys are going to be doing something instead, right?
This is Pete's baby. Pete, take her away, baby.
Okay. So at the end of January, when LVO would have happened this year, we're going to be running the Las Vegas Nopen. It's a charity event where we've and Val should take credit for at least the idea.
We're gonna name stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna get together for 16 to 20, 25 maybe different streamers from around the world, and they're going to film an elimination RTT live, and we're going to commentate on it. And the concept is the players may not transfer from round to round, but the lists will. So you might see Nick Nanavati play Richard Siegler with the list they would have taken LVO, and then the winner's list, they're going to send it off to someone like Stephen Box from Vanguard Tactics, and then he's going to have to play it into somebody else, and they're just going to kind of continue on the chain till we get to a final. And it's all in support of coronavirus relief efforts. We've got a website, lasvegasnopen.net already, and we're kind of working on swag and some other things right now. There's a couple of partners that haven't kind of firmed up with us. Once that's done, then we have to do like a wave of co-hosts and guest streamers and stuff like that aren't going to be playing. But things are coming along nicely.
Oh, that's great. That sounds great, and I love that it's for the COVID. Although ultimately, I wouldn't be too sad if we saw the money go towards the frontline gaming guys either, because they've got to be hard pressed. Like doing events, I think is their bread and butter. I'm not 100% certain.
No. Events used to be like their break-even point. They just did it more for advertising and fun.
I mean, I love them, but I probably call bullshit on that at this point.
No. Let me finish. Like that, you can talk to like Pablo, and he'll go like well in depth on that. Up until probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, they only made money off of the used model store. Like that was it. Everything else broke even. So now they do make money off it, but according to Reese, they're doing very well because 9th edition launched so well. It's just getting product is the problem.
It's also I think they had maximum time. So like they had like, because I think like everybody took
almost a year.
Yeah, well, but it also it took them a little while for like, I remember Pete and I sort of very quietly arguing with Reese about, maybe we should encourage people not to do tournaments and, power down the ITC. And there was actually in the very beginning, there was a lot of concern over doing that. And it was like, it took some lobbying. I think for a lot of people, including myself, it took a while to realize that, like, as much as I don't want this to happen, it's happening, right? Like the world is shutting down. Yeah. There is a dangerous virus spreading across the globe. We are in one of the not so great timelines right now. But once that happened, hobby, a lot of like, if you had inventory and you could sell stuff, a lot of people had nothing, obviously, but a lot of people suddenly have more disposable income, which has been a really weird and unjust thing that has happened throughout COVID. But nonetheless, there are lots of people who couldn't take vacations, suddenly have no dip in income. And so things like hobby budgets went up. And I think if you had inventory and if you're a manufacturer like Frontline Gaming, you probably actually had a good year, if not one of your best. So I don't know if that's true for Frontline Gaming, of course, but it did give them, they certainly were selling stuff. They had a year. They probably were able to renegotiate some things. So if this had happened, if lockdown had happened a month before for the first time ever, LVO, I'm sure it could have sunk Frontline Gaming because they had a year. They were able to get ready for it.
Reese has been open that he was very concerned for probably like the first 4 or 5 months of the year, and then things kind of just turned around. So,
well, that's positives. Like, but my point was ultimately, like, no matter what else, they run a great event which people love going to every year, and it's like they are a small independent business, much like Games Workshop, who people enjoy that what they do. So it would be nice. It's nice to go to charity, but it was like I'd have no problem with it going to people doing the thing. Also, Neil in the chat, me and Neil have had a couple of conversations over the past couple of weeks about prepping for ETC, which is a league away really compared to LVO, which is LVO is meant to be the end of Jan, WTC meant to be August, and there's still conversations going on about like how like possible that's going to be. I mean, very hopeful, but we'll see whether or not that's the case. But yeah, so we saw the positives, and it's great you guys are doing that. I'm very excited about watching it, so that's going to be fun.
It feels like WTC is going to be right on that window. I think, was I reading yesterday that isn't Europe supposed to have all of its doses delivered and distributed by September? Wasn't that announced yesterday or so?
I haven't seen it for Europe. I know Canada, they're saying everyone that wants to be vaccinated will be done by September. So,
did I say ETC?
Cool. You did. It's okay though. I wasn't going to correct you.
I also said ETC. No, whatever.
Apologies.
Whatever. Does anyone have a copyright anyway? Couldn't they just say? I wonder about that. They just say ETC. They're always running these things in like Eastern European countries anyway. Like, I'm pretty sure there's no like copyright laws.
It's in Austria.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's high.
I mean, it's not like Austria's never taken something that they don't own.
Wow.
Deep cuts. Too soon. Too soon, Val.
I love European capitals because you can tell exactly the period of history in which they were like dominant just by what style of architecture the fancy buildings are.
It's true. I'm actually very excited for the Nopen, and I'm very excited for the WTC event as well. That's kind of my big ticket item on my agenda this year. I think I'm not 100% certain something like CCBB, which is around the same time, would be likely. Probably not. Don't know. We'll see. So it's all up in the air. So we'll see in the next few.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna be openly optimistic for CCBB. Openly optimistic.
Okay.
I feel like we'll be there.
Okay.
It's also a great plate. Like, think of that room. Like, it's big enough that like if we even figured most people were vaccinated by then, on top of that you can socially distance. I don't know. I'd be very optimistic.
Okay. All right. Well,
Val jinxes the capital city bloodbath.
Live on air. Right. So, Pete, what was your favorite bit, do you think, of 2020, or was it the same thing?
I mean, yeah, I would say it's that, and then getting that Warcom article, and that's really been like the two big highlights for me. Pretty much everything else has been sitting around, gaining weight.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's good. That's good. So with the introduction of Ninth, what was your? Have you guys got a favorite standout thing about Ninth? Would you say? That's kind of a question. Val, you straight on that? You take a minute. That's no problem. Twitch chat can also give me their versions of their favorite thing about the launch. Maybe we could do the launch of Ninth as a favorite, and then post in review now where you're at. What's your favorite element of it? I think would be fair. And if you've got something, just jump in and tell me.
Well, I would just right off the cuff. I really, really like Ninth. I've already moved. I've moved on. I'm now. It's the concept of modernity. The second the new appears, the old feels antiquated and gross. 8th edition's disgusting. I'm a Ninth man now, through and through. And to be honest with you, I don't know. We've been talking all the way through this. I thought that everything, as far as like the core rules are concerned, were really fantastically put together. And then I think if we weren't in COVID right now, I think some things probably that we find annoying may have been addressed just because we'd have a lot more of a case to make. But I don't know. Pete, how do you feel about Ninth?
I mean, I love it. I think early on, the first thing was the terrain rules, because that was the biggest problem with 8th edition. So seeing those and starting to see them get fleshed out and the questions answered, that was the first thing. I was like, this is awesome. We finally have proper terrain rules. Mm-hmm. Once you kind of muddle through a couple of the more wordy ones, it just felt good.
They also work well, I find.
They do. They generally work well. And then there's very few issues with them, if any. And then I'd say after some time has passed, I think the missions themselves are generally very good. I would say I don't know, I think all but one of the missions I'm super into. I can definitely just run through it and have no qualms whatsoever. I actually really, really enjoy how the missions play now.
Do you find that?
I was a little concerned at first about possible parking lot lists. They do exist, but because of the way the people have kind of come on to terrain, they've made it more interactive regardless. But
do you find that we have a bit of a first cut championship missions scenario going on where secondaries are kind of all the same?
Secondaries are an issue. If there's an issue. And it's not a big issue, but going through the numbers on them, there's a few that are just way too good, and a couple that I understand that they wanted a couple to be bad on purpose, but I don't think it was necessary. It was just it was a weird design choice that got caught out right away.
Yeah, I was gonna say I played a game of 40k the other day. I played with Marines, and I played a fucking stinker. Had a great time though. And I still just scored 15 points just for being there.
Yeah, oath of moment. Someone needs to be like, maybe we should reevaluate this. But that being said, I've been saying this in a couple places. It's also just possible that because things have slowed down so much, we're looking at a meta that was not play tested for. You know what I mean? Like, if they're play testing multiple books at the same time and then releasing them now, like 2-3 months apart, certain things may seem stronger than they should be. Oath of Moment's probably a lot harder with Death Card giving you -1 toughness in a big bubble and all those other shenanigans that they can pull off. We have to wait and see. But yeah, like right now, Oath of Moment's a bit of a problem. Priority targets, that one mission specific one, not a good take. Bring It Down's a little too easy if you got vehicles, and Abhor the Witch is just bad because of certain factions and how they exist and can't really exist with it around. So
yeah, we may have seen, like in normal times, we may have seen like a big FAQ in September, and some of those things get adjusted. Right?
Well, there's been an announcement, hasn't there, of some sort of FAQs and/or points changes. Sometimes
I missed that.
I did miss that as well. They did do like a first kind of series of FAQs, and they were very lackluster in comparison to what people thought would get answered. Right, there were several like big burning questions in the competitive community that just didn't get addressed or were just considered not a problem. So
yeah, okay. Someone in the chat had said it. I think so. It could be something that was wrong, and there isn't that. If anyone has evidence of that, then let me know. But I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. So sorry about that. Okay. So overall 9th. You just like the whole thing, Val. Big love to it. Pete, have you got a favorite thing about the new 40k? I know you. It's also big thumbs up for you.
Yeah, generally big thumbs up. I mean, terrain is still once people figure it out, terrain is still like the big thumbs up for me. Missions are good, but terrain, I love it. I love the terrain rules. They can really love.
Yeah, I think it's missions and terrain for me. Like missions specifically. Like I talked about this in so many times. I brought up Age of Sigmar missions, and these are basically them, but you score slightly different. And I'm just in love with that. Having to move across the board. I think that's one of the things that you saw the WTC/ETC previously. They had you do the Maelstrom cards because you had to go and do something. Like you had to go across the board or whatever the situation was. And I personally still think that's what makes a game. I think that's a tactical war game. I don't know how else you want to describe it, but having to be in places, hold those locations, feels warlike to some degree, and makes. It's just so good. I'm so excited. And terrain, like if anything, the terrain for 40k has kickstarted a whole conversation with me about terrain for Age of Sigmar, like just terrain in the game completely. I think that they absolutely smashed that. I'm a little bit like, so it's a solid wall, yes, but my little human can walk through it, yes. All right, like fair enough.
Yep.
Like,
yep. I get you. I feel you.
If it makes the whole thing work, I'll take it. Like I'll be on board with it. If it makes the whole thing work, I'll let that just happen. When I explain it to someone, I'll be like, "They've got a magic button that Star Trek teleports through, or whatever."
I would just be like, "Whoa, buddy!" Because I think one massive step they took a half step in 8th, and I think they finally took the rest of the step in 9th, is to get abstract again. Because it's a miniatures game. Like your guys are frozen in time and space, but they're dynamically moving through the environment in your mind. So having true line of sight dictate every single thing made for really shitty terrain because you had to have solid walls or not. So having all infantry able to Kool-Aid their way through things is fine by me. And you just pretend that they got like little charges and stuff. They can blow a hole in the wall and then run through it.
Yeah.
But why doesn't the hole stay there, Val? Come on.
Because they're very much
bullshit.
they're very much like the fucking Romans, aren't they? Like they knock it down and they rebuild it, and they're just engineers more than soldiers. Engineers more than soldiers.
Exactly.
Do you have a favorite gossip point or low point? This is your time. A moment of intrigue. Was there a moment during 9th of high speculation? So obviously in the past we've had things like the LVO bottle push and or the LGT cheat. We've had, what else have we had? a variety of different moments. They are actually centered around one person, but like other things. So yeah, was there anything this year? I mean, you guys, I think one of the I don't know if you guys are very public about this, and it's okay if I say it. One of my favorite bits for you. I'll let the chat put out their favorite things, like the Ram Ranch Rules League. That was obviously great, Nick.
That was
amazing.
That was one of the things that I think you guys were really sensible about, and also very responsible about, was you decided to not report on some events where they weren't being safe for the Stat Center. And I don't know if you guys have necessarily made that overly public, so I apologize for outing you on that one. But like, I think that's a very good decision as community leaders. So well done to you both on that. Yeah, have you guys got anything that jumps to mind, or we could just talk about the Ram Ranch Rules League, because that's great too.
I mean, Ram Ranch was incredible. Outside of that, Koozie Gate was hilarious until it wasn't. Koozie Gate was absolutely hilarious until it wasn't. Like, what a terrible idea, probably based on good intentions, but what a terrible solution that caught up to everybody. Yeah, so Koozie Gate was definitely my favorite.
Both of our tournament-related snafus revolve around Brohammer dudes, don't they? And,
yeah, they do. Yep.
And I guess that's probably because the only places dumb enough to be running events are Florida and the U.S. Midwest. And like we did try to pick and choose for a little while, and there was some stuff in Georgia that we didn't cover. But I mean, eventually it just became untenable. Like, it's just anywho. So yeah, we really didn't have much choice but to power down, and maybe one day we shall rise from the ashes with maybe a video format hosted by Rob on Tuesday mornings. Because I like this.
I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help.
I might be 15 minutes late, but hey, I still get here. So, but hold on. Yeah, I'd say that as far as like intrigue is concerned, one of the reasons I was so annoyed by the stupid Iron Man scandal that we didn't actually, I don't even know if we ever did talk about on here, but where people accused John Lennon and Richard Siegler of conspiring to pad their ITC points and win the ITC in COVID-19 year, which to me is patently absurd. But I do understand that people don't necessarily know these guys, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because the LVO 2020 was won by Mr. Siegler. And throughout his 6-month reign of terror, he demonstrated, I think, probably him. I think him and John Lennon invented how to play 40K competitively and fairly before our eyes. And that's, I think, using like a slavish commitment to declared intent, not just intent, declared intent, staying very clearly what you're doing before you do it, ensuring that your opponent knows what's up and that they concur. If you watch them on stream, they put on clinics on how to do this. So I don't know, people can disagree with me, whatever, I don't care. So I think it sucked that they wound up in the midst of a scandal over a bullshit tournament that should not have been run in the first place, and they shouldn't have had anything to do with. And now they're associated with some other nefarious people who actually do mean to do a lot of those things, and that sucks. So that's my bummer. That's my bummer of 2020.
Okay, that's a bummer. Pete, you got any thoughts on that?
On that, yeah, I mean, that wasn't my big bummer, but it was an interesting whole scenario. I felt bad for everyone involved. I think, like, I know John and Richard personally. John doesn't need help winning an event by any means, even against Richard or Nick or anybody else for that matter. So I did think it was rather weird that this was all kind of coming up the way it did. But at the same time, it was just like so many bad decisions that it shouldn't have happened. Like Val said to begin with, like that event shouldn't have been run. And in the optics of it were awful across the board, no matter what. So.
Yes. Yeah. The optics were bad. But like, I don't know if I have a dog in the race. I've said this before because I truly don't care about like the entire situation. If I'm honest, I don't mean that in a nasty way. I just don't care. Like, but it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, just like if you look at the LVO 2020, like someone joked about Tony Grappando, who, by the way, was at LVO 2020. I ran into him in the in the casino. High five the guy. Lovely soul, Jack dude still. But like, you know, that was like the great watershed moment, I think, of what we might call the like modern era of competitive 40K with coaching and people trying super hard at this. I think kind of started with Tony Gate. And last year we didn't have any of that. Like it was like a really perfect, like the biggest scandal I remember at the LVO is that there was somebody who made the top 8 who got shit wrecked when he actually got to the top 8, but he probably had one of the worst reps from last year, and he made it to the finals.
Oh.
But he also had a really terrible shadow round, like game.
Yes,
that we covered.
Yes, so that we actually just went away from, and
we left because it wasn't a comfortable game. It wasn't like there was cheating involved, but it wasn't a very comfortable game. Like it was not fun to sit around and watch. So
yes.
Other notable highlights of the year was, I mean, we've got to talk about it. I'm sorry, the app.
Yeah, this is my low light of the year for me. The app.
Oh, how did I not think of the app? Oh yeah,
the app really. Like even to this day, I'm disappointed, and I can't. Like I was like furious. I would say like comparatively with when it launched, and it just kind of like it's slowly gotten better, but not fast enough. Given like the fact that there's nothing else going on, and it bothers me. It bothers me to this day that I can't make a list in the app when they finally released the list builder. There's so many mistakes in it. I can't do it. I tried to make a list the other day for my Blood Angels. I was like, I'm going to make it in the app. And I can't. And then I tried again yesterday to make a different list. Same thing. It's missing so much stuff. And it just bugs me. It bugs me that I'm paying money for this. And I'm still paying money for it because I support the concept. And maybe I shouldn't. So
like, the only thing I can really say about the app, like more than anything, is like, the app isn't very good. It kind of does a job well enough. Like it does. Like, but like the thing for me is that that's okay. Like you can make a shitty product. Like if you're at a restaurant, you bring out a meal, it's undercooked or whatever the situation. The serving staff, which is their job to be that place between the chef and you. You know, you're like, hey, by the way, this doesn't work. This isn't working for me. This isn't cooked. This is burnt. Whatever the situation. And you're like, yeah, I can absolutely see that. Like objectively, like no one is disagreeing with you. The whole consensus from everyone is that this isn't right. No problem. I'm going to go take it back. I've heard you. Maybe I'll do something on top. You know, here I'll give you like a free thing or like whatever the situation. I'll sort you out. I'm so sorry that the service that we provided hasn't been okay. But that wasn't the situation, which I think for me is the biggest downfall, because it really showed like there's a lot of like to-ing and fro-ing about like the community, Warhammer community, and how they reach out and how they listen to us, and a lot of their like platitudes, which is just advertising. But ultimately, we are all people, and they're all people. And I sometimes really dislike that disassociation between business and human, because they really, at that point, really fronted up as a business. They were just like, this is fine. And they're like, this will come at some point. The other app that we have, we're not supporting. Like, and we won't mention that, and we're not talking, like, it was just very bad customer service, and it was just very bad human interaction. And I think that nothing else that really let me down, because as much as I rip on GW, and I will, any opportunity I get, yeah, I would like the game, I would like to just be okay with them. Like, I would like the game that I like. No, I will. I'll compliment them where they need compliment. Right? I'm like, Terrain, you've done a smashing job here. This is great. Or whatever the situation. When it's something I really like, I give it a big thumb up, and I'm not shy about it. And anyone who listens to the show enough will know that that's the case. And so I'm sad that they did that, because that's pushed me back, I don't know, however long in my healing process. And now I'm like, I'm not going to forget that for a couple of years. Every time you say something, I'm like, nah, you're a bit of a cunt about that app for at least 3 months. You're fucked, in my mind. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's where I'm at. What do you think,
Val? First of all, I fully agree with both of you guys. It was heartbreaking. That's the only way I can describe it. I remember how, I believe, what did I say? I said something like, I'm gonna go 90%. This app is good because I couldn't believe it wouldn't be. Like there are free versions of this supported by guys probably in their spare time. All of them.
Yes, all of them. It's in their spare time. Yeah.
All of them is just it's a hobby project. Maybe there's one guy who kind of understands how a database works, which seems to be the key element of the team they did not get for the GW app.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate because, as I've said here and maybe elsewhere, it looks like this app will be permabusted, which also sucks because that also means that it may not do as well, and therefore GW will think apps are bad in their infinite wisdom. So it's bad. It's really bad in a lot of ways, in a lot of really, as far as like this hobby is concerned, sad ways. And it's hard not to be endlessly morose about it. But at the same time, nope, it's just all bad. It's unfortunate, and I hope it gets turned around. And I suspect it's the same old culture war within. There's some sort of weird politics thing going on. Because these kind of decisions can only be made by entrenched, inefficient bureaucracies. Like this is like Soviet Russia's Warhammer app, so it's
the Chernobyl of Warhammer apps.
Well, Chernobyl at least was a functioning power plant, at one point. In fact, continued to be a functioning power plant even after it melted down for like 20 years. So. Let's not rag on Chernobyl. Yeah, the other reactors kept cooking, man. Like they needed that power.
So sorry, I did not know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. I think Chernobyl gets powered down in like the early 2000s or late 90s, something like that. The rest of it, anyway. Also, I think we've touched on it on the adjacent show, but if you've never read about or seen pictures of the sarcophagus that they built for Chernobyl, it was actually a really touching example of international coordination. In use now? Chernobyl's still in use? No. Couldn't be. Anyway, the sarcophagus that they built to like roll over top of it, absolutely incredible. Well, and yes, it's insulting to Chernobyl to be compared to the GW app.
Almost ended the Earth.
A piece of it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that was a low light. It's really been a year of lowlights, really, with the Rona and the locking in and the constant cancellation of the events, I guess. But also, there's been like highlights as well. It meant that we've been able to do this show, which has been great.
Mm-hmm. Yes. How's that not sprung to mind? This has been a wonderful development.
So that's been a positive. And then also, how have you, over the course of the Rona for you both, how have you found... Pete, you've always maintained a very, distance, not through choice, through location. You've always kept a distance to a degree. Like, how have you found? Has it changed much for you generally? Everything that's happened, or does it feel more businessy as usual?
Not having breaks from it has been the big change. Like in the past. I could be like, okay, in 3 months, I'm going to go to San Diego. I'm going to see a bunch of people I really like and party down and just have a time. And I didn't get to do that, right? Like, those are big deals for me. I couldn't even go to Edmonton by the end of it to see a regular person. Having my mother-in-law here, she's like the first person I've interacted with in person outside of my family since May, when my company decided to go into a kind of a shutdown as well, where we cut to only having 2 employees in the building for 5 minutes at a time. Mm-hmm. And then it's just me. So I go to work and I see the guy that does the morning shift for 5 minutes to make sure that I know what happened in the previous 5 hours, and then I hop into position. So yeah, there's an extreme amount of loneliness that comes with living in the north, and it gets really amplified by Rona. So,
and also of the 7.5 billion people on Earth, for you to break the Rona quarantine with the mother-in-law, maybe very low on the list. Maybe
if I had a pick list.
Yeah, maybe above everyone in Guantanamo, but below a random barista.
Just take any barista. I don't know, man. I feel like any barista would probably be got good odds to at least have someone who's chatty.
Yeah, that's. I'm pro that. What about you, Val? Like, has it changed much for you, like over the year?
Well, one thing, Pete. Yeah, I do have like a heart does go out to people who are isolated. Actually, the other day I was contemplating the Falcon, which I do from time to time, and I realized that like I take living in a big city for granted. Like Peter, you've never like lived in a like massive metropolis, have you?
I lived in Halifax, is the biggest place I lived.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay.
1 million.
Then I'm bullshit.
No,
then I'm
probably a couple 100,000.
That's okay. Because sometimes like people just go from one like smallish city to another and they never have it. But so that isolation, man, I don't actually suffer from. If anything, like I have had kind of the opposite with Corona. I have to be careful because for me it's been a lot of positives in the sense of I get space, right? Like life was like super cluttered up with a lot of stuff that I didn't necessarily want to do, and I think this has allowed for me to spend time with people I genuinely love and enjoy. Granted, it has to be like this, but like I have found that quality connection with my favorite people has increased, but and like a lot of like the silly obligations have decreased, which is maybe just a function of where I am in life and stuff like that. Having JVP, obviously massive highlight. Kid's a star.
You've forgotten that. I was gonna like swoop in with my highlight was JVP being born. It's like you beat it to the punch, but you got there. Well done.
Thank you. Well, yeah, you snookered me with the whole. There's another good one, Snookergate.
Did you see me get Jim with it the other day?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I got Jim with it live on air. It was brilliant. I was like, hey, Jim, do you guys have that game over there with it's like billiards, but he was going through them all and he was just like, and then eventually he was like, snooker, and the chat was just like, yes.
He didn't say snooker. Don't be like that.
He said snooker. Everyone
for sure, because that's how you say it. Who says snooker?
Yeah, snooker is weird.
Snooker sounds like snooker. Like it. That sounds like you have a speech impediment when you say snooker.
Yeah. It's a very bourgeoisie thing.
Happened.
Very bougie.
Well, I just got lost in my words. Anywho, COVID-19 for my personal well-being, I would say, unfortunately for everyone else, actually has been kind of a nice thing. And Pete, hopefully,
just a second.
Interactions
the
here.
People that invented snooker are dead for the chat. So they don't pronounce it anyway. Get out of here. Continue.
Damn. Anywho, yeah, I'm just rambling, but it's made, I don't know, everyone I think has had to take stock in their own way of what was valuable to them, and I'm really fascinated by what future world will be like. Coming out, you're no longer European, Rob. By the way, that finished up. Way to go, guys.
I don't recognize. Sorry, I don't want to be like this guy, but I don't really recognize like borders or countries. Like I have friends all around the world. It just doesn't work for me. Like I don't get it. Someone's like die for this country. I'll be like, no. Like it's that easy.
Not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it. They'll be like, don't you care about this flag? Also, no. Did I design it? Do I give a fuck? 0%. Like
who's the amazing cross-dressing UK comic? Is that Eddie Izzard?
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah.
He has a great bit about flags.
Yes.
That I absolutely adore. If anyone hasn't, I think you can just Google Eddie Izzard flags and you will sum up what Rob is talking about. It's fabulous.
One of my favorite comedians.
He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
When everyone tries to get any sort of nationalism on me, I just sit down in front of that Rise Against song that's like 4.5 minutes long. And I'm just like, you listen to this?
All of them?
Time for you. Not all of them. I can't remember which one it is. Is it called Survivor? Patreon?
I didn't know that. Sorry, Eddie. She has transitioned. I did not know that about.
Transitioned in terms of name. In terms of pronoun.
Yeah.
Ah, all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she wants to be recognized as a lady now, or at least spoken about as such. So
I hope to be forever corrected on that front.
It's okay. You weren't trying to like. It wasn't anything. I'm not trying to do anything. Anyway. Yeah. So what
you don't know me.
I'm eating a giant Kinder Surprise egg, and it's great.
Is that what you got, Pete?
Oh yeah.
Favorite thing
these
about
are
surprise is that they're somehow
illegal.
dangerous for the United States.
Yeah, the United States can do Rona. They can just eat Rona for breakfast. Cannot have one of these. They might choke on the insides. They might forget that it's not chocolate inside.
Is that really? Serious?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. That's weird. You can have Kinder. I don't think. Can you have the little things inside now? I don't know. We're getting chlorinated chicken soon. So excited. Can't wait. It's going to be the funnest.
Is that like chicken you put in the pool? Yeah.
Well, so you know how America they fill everything with like awfulness and then they sell it to you. Yeah. So like because we're not under the EU now, we don't have to protect how our food is or a human rights bill. None of those things. None of those things apply to us now. So
yeah, lack of a constitution is going to come into effect.
I'm looking forward to it. That's why actually you've got the 3D printers. I've been 3D printing ninja stars to protect myself.
That's a good idea.
They're blunt though, so it's really not worked out for me.
must be amazing for making fighting sticks though.
Yeah, kind of. So just getting back to 40k a bit from this year. Just from this year is what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So because we've done our highlights, and is both of your low light the app? I assume so.
I mean, outside of Rona itself, yeah, probably the app.
Rona's been a
for
big
me.
one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry, my face froze there for a second, but no, for sure, app all the way, because it would be app and Rona. I think those are the leaders. Probably Rona then app. I mean, in fairness, but
yeah, I think Rona's this is had to be number one, but then I get so sad about the app now. First, I'm going through all the stages of grief when it comes to the app, and it's just taking forever. It is fucking bothering me how long it's taken me to get through them. I don't know when I'm going to get to acceptance, maybe 6 years from now, but man.
I think I survive only because there is a fully developed bootleg ecosystem that exists that allows us to continue to operate as we were before. It sucks that we have to do that. I'd love to give you money, Games Workshop. In fact, I also, like a sucker, have been giving you money. But nonetheless, I would like more people to give the money for the thing that I love. And I'd like to see this game be able to be better. And I think a good app will do that. And it sucks that we don't have that. That's the whole story.
But overall, everything else. I mean, some lowlights for me were the fact that they released the book in 8 books. That was weird. So the launch was 8 books. I felt that was sad. I also was very happy with Ram Ranch leaks, but sad for the playtesters about the playtester leaks. So
yeah, that was a bummer.
And I mean that was a frothy point. Everyone was all the hype had come out. Everyone was so excited, and then that was just a bummer time. I think for a lot of people generally, ultimately. But one of the key
something we clocked here was because those came out concurrently, the Space Marine points and the Ram Ranch stuff.
Yeah,
and the Ram Ranch stuff was just that was all review copy. But when we saw the
mournable watermark,
I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And who knows? Actually, I don't officially know at all how much of an impact that had. I know it was touch and go, but who knows?
I know I know a portion of it. I don't know all of it, obviously, because I won't ask. But it was real bad. It was real bad. There was a lot of yelling, from what I understand. So, or a British version of yelling.
English yelling. I was about to say, yeah, which is the worst. It's just I'm really disappointed. You're yeah, Jesus.
Yeah,
calm down.
Who did this? No more crumpets for you.
Yeah. I did not sleep last night. So
I did, but it was only for 45 minutes.
So do you guys have a favorite model released this year? Because there were quite a few. If you take Psychic Awakening into account as well, there was quite. I think we got most of the Space Marine characters last year. Your Salamander guy and your the Imperial Fist dude, both of which were beautiful models in my opinion. For Marines, we also saw. Did we see? Yeah, we did. We saw all the Mechanicus stuff this year as well, which I thought was the Cerberus Hounds and all of that.
That's true.
That was this year.
That was pre-Corona when that all dropped, and like Ninth coming out, so it was like kind of got lost in all of it. But yeah, that did all come out.
Yeah. So yeah, that was all this year, as well as obviously everything Indomitus onwards as well. So there's a significant amount. Have you guys got any standouts? You got Pete? You got fave? Do you think? Or I can tell you mine, where you guys take a think about it if you want.
I'm ready to go. Pete?
Okay.
Go for it, Val. Go for it.
So actually, the thing that pops into mind as far as like for me a wow moment for like, I know GW loves to smell the some farts. They're the best model maker. Blah blah. No idea how objectively true that is, but I will tell you the model this year that made me go, "Whoa, that's really clever," is the empty suit of armor dude from AOS. I don't know who he is.
Oh really? The Light of Altharion?
That to me was like super neat creativity and wizardry. And he wasn't even like toe launching off a piece of terrain. So that was cool. Gaz obviously is great just in the sense that I love that there's a resculpt of Gaz. He's long been a super derpy, essentially large mega knob, basically forever. The only letdown for me is that his claw is down here instead of the big overhand. Actually, he's his left claw instead of the big overhand left. Because he's very similar to the cover of the old Armageddon Codex, but they brought his claw down instead of the Haymaker claw. So I'm gonna try and mod mine so that he's got the Haymaker claw and he looks proper. But as of right now, I'd say Gaz is an 8 out of 10.
Okay, I mean Gaz this year as well was also a big pick, like pretty brilliant Gaz. Pete, what about you?
Well, I would have to say, from both a model and competitive standpoint, probably the Mega Gargant.
Oh my God, Pete!
Because
it's like this.
You can kick objectives, Rob.
Oh
it's so good.
Like, we actually on the show last night. That was actually in our yesterday. Sorry, that was in my cool mechanics they've released this year category.
Isn't it funny to you guys though that he literally kicks rocks?
Yeah.
Like the Mega Gargant's like big moves literally be like, no, phooey, and like kick something.
It felt good saying that.
They actually FAQ'd, to explain to you both something real quick, they FAQ'd something, so the kicking isn't a problem. They have a special rule where they count, which is quite a fun rule that I'd like to maybe see to apply in monsters in 8th, where they count as more than one model. So they count as the large ones count as 30, or in a certain tribe they count as 40, and the little ones count as 10, and in another tribe they count as 15, which is quite a cool way of giving monsters some sort of like objective scoring capability. It's quite fun. I'd probably like to see that applied to all monsters. So all of that is super cool with me. Big thumbs. Then they did like a weird FAQ, like a super weird FAQ, which basically meant that because their rule that gives them that ability to be worth more models is tied to a certain set of wording, they're able then to change the scoring mechanics of a scenario, and only them, and not at the beginning or at the end, multiple times during the opponent's turn, your turn. It's the weirdest FAQ in the world. So you can basically turn up to a scenario and be like, okay, only hero score. And they're like, no, models. And then they're like, all right. And then they're like, oh, no, wait, we flip it back. It's people. And you're like, that is fucking weird. It's super weird.
What have I done? What have I done just to get that joke in? But it felt so good. It felt so good to say it.
No, but wouldn't you like to see the monster thing? In 40k,
I would love Knights to have that. Knights in particular, getting that would be spectacular. Nids to a certain degree, if you ran like a specific type of list, love it too. In terms of my actual, it's the Silent King. That was a beautiful model. Then they did it exactly how I wanted to. Rules and for both rules and look.
Oh, okay.
His data sheet is hilarious.
I mean, it's an entire novel, but
it's funny to look at. It is. It's funny.
Yeah, that's a beautiful model. That's a great choice. Mine probably is of all things. I like Gaz, but like I think the model could have maybe been slightly different. I like the Reanimator model. I thought that was, or the Doomstalker, one of those two. The Doomstalker I thought looked like so good. I'm so sad it's like rubbish. But like,
Doomstalker's not terrible. You can build a list around it. It's not amazing, but the Reanimator is absolute garbage.
which is a shame. But I think they both look awesome. Remind me of the Matrix, which I was into. Do you guys have a low light model for the year? Because I'm jumping straight in with my low light model of the year, and it is, of course, the Space Marine fucking turret. Hate that model.
Oh, that's dumb.
Loathe that model. I'd shoot
dumb.
into space if I could. Loathe it.
Well, it's just because they literally just grow Primaris now, so they can just put a gunner on anything. They probably have like doormen at like the monasteries, just Primaris dudes just hanging out in front, opening doors for people. They've got them washing dishes in the back. Primaris are just falling out of their ears, so they can just have a guy hanging out in an immobile turret. Maybe like the Space Marine Union just like really got a good like collective bargaining agreement round, and they were able to take that job back from the robot that used to do it.
Yeah, like they use servo schools anyway for stuff, so you might as well use the dumb Marines and just it's basically the same. Just put that skull in there, just cover it in a meat bag.
But like there literally is there is a model of like a stationary turret that's unmanned that exists. Like I own a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anyway, it's hilarious. I agree. That's a dumb one. But I mean ATV's gotta be the dumbest.
I love the ATV now because you can heal it and bring it back. So now it's moved into my like hilarious tier. Like it's moved into like pure fun. Like, so I'm into it. Someone's like, I've got 9 ATVs. I'm like, you fucking go, soldier. I'm so excited for this. Yeah. What about you, Pete?
It was the servo turret too. I mean, the Hammerfall bunker is also a useless piece of crap, but the servo turret is the ugliest and has a movement characteristic for some reason. And
love it.
Just
can't you put it in White Scars and it goes super fast?
You can go 10 inches, I think it is with White Scars. 10 inches and still shoot. 3-inch move, +1 from plume, and then 6-inch advance. Yeah, you can just give her and still shoot.
I hate it. I hate
Hashtag
it
blast.
forever. Yeah, it's the worst. That's the worst one I'm going to go for. Although, yeah. But the models generally are nice. The models this year have been. I mean, we've smashed it this year. The Mechanica stuff was amazing. The Cerberus Hounds I thought were great. Gazzy. There was some baller models this year. It's been a great year.
Like Born Again Manchild says, like the Indomitus models were also like even the Space Marine stuff was they look good. None of them look derpy. Like the Blade Guard in particular, gorgeous models, so much fun to paint. When you look at like a skilled painter, like how many like amazing Blade Guard are out there? Mm-hmm. That's basically all 40K Instagram is now is Blade Guard models in the Silent King. So
yeah. Oddly, I don't know if you remember when the Cerberus Hounds came out, but I was a rare dissenting take on them, thinking that they were dumb. And I believe you guys both shouted me down on that and that I was wrong. I mean, I don't as strongly think they are dumb, but I think they're dumb.
I think they're dumb rules-wise because they're very, very cost-efficient and annoying to play against. But
I like them because they're almost cowboys. Robo-dogs. And I generally hate. I mean, I hate the Raptors. I hate not the Raptors. I hate the planes. I'm just like, oh, they suck. They look awful. I'll
the
never change my mind on
ornithopters.
Yeah, the like I get it. Like I don't know. I don't like it.
Holy shit! I just had a. That is a terrible magic card. Ornithopter, and I swear to God, it looks exactly like. Yeah. Well, look at that. It's just Leonardo da Vinci's thing. Got it.
Ornithopter is a major part of certain modern decks. I can't believe you would say it's a terrible magic card.
Is it really? It's like a zero-cost like artifact thing?
Zero-cost artifact. Makes certain modern decks function.
Really?
Anyway, yeah.
I have 100 of these.
Well, if you want to spend another like $1,500, you can make a very good deck.
Amazing. Anyway, wow. I just put those two things. So yeah, everyone can Google the magic card Ornithopter and you can see the same design. Oh my God, they actually have a there you go. The new Ornithopter magic card actually just looks like the fucking magic, like looks like the Warhammer 40K Ornithopter thing.
Well, it's nice to see them sidestep for where they steal their designs from.
Well, they both stolen. Both concepts are stolen from the same place, which is Leonardo da Vinci. As I believe
da Vinci.
But he's dead.
But he's dead.
Yeah.
He can't defend himself.
He doesn't much. much care.
He doesn't.
Although the rich guy who bought his notebook would maybe have something to say about all this.
I don't think you can copyright it anymore, right? Can you? I think it's a little late. A little late in the game.
No. Although they have there's a new.
He's not Walt Disney.
Yeah. No, he's not Disney, is he? No. There's a new streaming law actually that's just come out, just been introduced in America, which is actually fairly impactful because Twitch is based in the US. But more on that in another show.
Wait a minute, you can't tease that. What is that?
So in the stimulus package where everyone got $600, they actually put in which was like one line out of like 1,700 lines. Is what they call an omnibus bill. So they just stuck loads and loads of stuff in there. And one of the things was they put in. So you know how they gave like overarching copyright laws to Disney so that they could chase anyone off about any copyright and effectively like imprison people over anything. They then did the same thing. They now put that into streaming, where like it's illegal to stream. Like you can't stream something that's copyrighted, and it's not just an infringement of copyright law. It's illegal to the point of jail time. But it's ambiguous enough that obviously, if you've got £1 billion and a load of lawyers, you can like stick any fucking kid in jail. But you yourself are safe forever and ever. So there you go. Hope that helps. I mean, it doesn't apply to you guys, so you guys are good.
I guess I'll have to not get that Mickey Mouse face tattoo I was planning on.
That's the plan. Anyway, can I just thank you both from me for joining me this year. This has been a highlight of my year, being able to talk to you both on a Tuesday. You guys have been great. So that's my highlight, and I want to say a big thank you. Okay, good. Solid.
Well, because Pete and I have groveled many times, and I have said on numerous occasions, both publicly and privately, that this is the highlight of my week, and the only reason I ever show up late is because I just forgot that it's Tuesday, and it's particularly difficult. I mean, yesterday was a banking holiday here in Canada, thanks to Boxing Day, but I think Pete would agree that this has been a wonderful thing. It has gotten me through old COVID-19 without a feeling of isolation or loneliness. And I think in large part, thanks to the wonderful chats and conversations we've shared with you here, Rob. And with the chat, whoever those people are.
Great guys. I miss Pete Storytime, which also happened this year.
Yeah, briefly. It briefly happened. But then Scrivo wouldn't make me my avatar, and I lost interest because I was like, I can't believe this guy won't draw me a bird in front of a fireplace, and it just ruined the whole image for me. That and Bronx kept barking at me while I was trying to read. So it was really, really not helpful. He was like, why aren't you paying attention to me? You just got home. So,
sweet Bronx.
Well, anyway, so it's time we head out because we kept Pete long enough, and it's sleepy time. So, Val, Pete, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone who's listening. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everyone. Look after yourselves. Twitch chat, big love. See you tomorrow.
Are you doing an endless stream for New Year's as well?
Not sure. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have a look.
All right. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Bye. Love you, everybody.